Oh boy, it's the most roachiest time of the year. It's March, baby. We are in full swing, and we will get into it in a little bit. But first, want to say a big thank you to all the roaches who came out to Portland. Oh my goodness, one of the best shows in the history of my life, hands down. It was so much fun. So many roaches scurrying out for one late-ass show amongst a myriad of John Lovett shows. And I can't wait to get back out to Portland again. It made me regret not shooting a special in Portland. Like, that's how fun it was. So thank you once again if you made it out there. As far as shows down the road, going to be announcing San Diego soon. I know I just was there, but this is until July, and it's going to be at the brand new Mic Drop Comedy Club. So look out for that. Going to be posting about that with a link very soon. Also going to be announcing a Chicago date very soon as well. So get excited for that. Those are going to be happening in the summertime. The spring, we're cooking up some other type of stuff I can't wait for. And in the meantime, I'm going to be on the road the next 2 weeks in Las Vegas. I'm going to be with Annie this weekend at Wise Guys. Next weekend, I'll be there with Tom. So if you're going to see either of them, I will be there, and it will be during March Madness, which is dangerous for me. I mean, I'm going to do work, thank God, but I'm probably going to lose every cent that I make on March Madness. It's going to be wild. But again, we will get to that down the road. As far as other things going, since it is March Madness, the Patreon is going to be full-on cooking, and there will be plenty of content for the Patreon from these next 2 weekends in Vegas as I lose money in real time. So get ready for all of those things, my friend, and get subscribed to the Patreon right now. We're going to be doing a little bit of a bracket contest on there as well. So if you're already a member, you have to be a member to play the bracket contest, and you very well might walk away with some money in your pocket. So that's very exciting right there. I had such a fun weekend, and I want to thank you, by the way, if you watched last week's episode with our roaches in the Ukraine, living through all the things that are going on. We have some Ukraine stories to get to a little bit later on. Some protests are happening in and about Russia and the Ukraine. I said the Ukraine again, Kirsten. What a dumb freaking idiot I am.
Man, you're just like the
God
others.
I'm just like the gays. No, it's what am I like? The R's? I don't know. But anyhow, thank you for all the positive feedback. People are saying wild things. Oh, you should win a Pulitzer. I don't know if I should go that far, but it was very interesting, and I do thank both Zevalod and Oksana for their time. Been keeping tabs on them. They're doing as well as could be in these types of scenarios. You know what I did in Portland, though? I went out to eat, and I had, for the first time, foie gras. Now, I've heard of this before, and I had never had it before, you see, but I have heard of it before. And I go, oh, it's duck. And then I ate it, and I was like, that was pretty good. And then I was talking to somebody. I'm like, yeah, it's just duck or whatever. It's prepared a certain way. They go, you know how it's prepared? And I go, no, how is it prepared? And I'll go, is it like veal or something? And was I a bad person? They go, it's a little worse than veal. But also, like, who cares about ducks? I don't know. Do you know how it's prepared? I'm just going to go off on a limb here and see if Kirsten knows anything about it.
I've never even heard of this dish.
All right, pull it up. I'm going to shock and awe you right now. Can you start the stopwatch as well? I keep staring at it, and I'm like, I haven't started yet. Thank you. Pull up just Wikipedia foie gras. It's FOIE space GRAS. Now, I don't remember all the things the person told me as I was eating this. I mean, they could have waited till I was done eating it to tell me what was going on. But the way that they like basically shove pipes down a duck's throat and stuff their liver with things. I'm not sure exactly. I started blanking out and I could not even finish my meal despite enjoying what it tastes like. Does it have a preparation or anything like that you can read for us?
Yeah, it says here that ducks are force-fed twice a day for 12.5 days and geese 3 times a day for around 17 days. And then they're typically slaughtered at 100 days, the ducks, and then geese at 112 days.
So what a torturous existence. And it's not only that they're getting force-fed, they're getting force-fed by pipes getting shoved down their throat. It was wild. And you would think, this is a fancy dish, if you go out to eat, you buy this for a lady, you think you're going to be shoving some pipes down their throat, and it turns out they're probably going to judge you. So I'm trying to put out a bit of a warning here. Order at your own risk. Make sure you're not with, an animal lover when you're ordering this dish, because they will be mortified at the pure just barbarism that is you eating this dish. That's what I learned at the end of this whole thing, because good golly.
Can't abide such idiocy any longer.
No, I need that to be on the menu. Will this offend a woman you're with? That's what I need on the menu. If I didn't know what veal was going in, I would probably order that too. I go, that sounds good. Then they go, oh, you know what veal is, right? You know how that's pretty. They just have to live in a tight cage. They never get to form muscle. And you're like, oh, God, I had no idea. I don't know, man. These types of stories, they just make me go like, should I just be a vegetarian? But at the same time, I'm just too lazy to even embark on that kind of thing. But yeah, my weekend was wonderful in Portland. Thank you so much. I actually did eat at a vegan restaurant the next day because I was like, I've had enough of meat tails for one weekend, and it was very good too. But nevertheless, fun weekend in Portland. And then I came home on Sunday, and I watched the NHL Heritage Classic, which the Buffalo Sabres were playing in. I was so excited for this game for so long, but then when Jack Eichel acted like an asshole to the Buffalo Sabres. Now, you might not know the backstory here, and that's okay. You're not a Sabres fan. Either are many people in Buffalo at the moment. It's so funny because I've been so obsessed with this, and I've been talking about it quite a bit, and then I remembered not even 2,000 people go to these fucking games. So I don't even know why I'm so obsessed with it or why I'm bringing it up. It is just interesting, though. But Jack Eichel, former Buffalo Sabres captain, was finally traded away after a long, arduous standoff in just 7 years of nonsense, just an awful tenure, and sour pusses on both sides. The team, Jack Eichel, the fans. It's just better we all went our separate ways. You know, that type of breakup. You know, you ever with a girl and you're like, oh my God, she's a smoke show. She's smart. You know, she's fun. But then when you're together, there's some sort of toxicity that occurs and you're just fighting like cats and dogs constantly. That was how it was with Jack Eichel the entire time he was with the Buffalo Sabres. And so again, we traded him to the Vegas Golden Knights for Alex Tuch and Peyton Krebs, and he just this past week made his first return to Buffalo against us for the Vegas Golden Knights. And the Sabres won 3-1 with Peyton Krebs and Alex Tuch scoring a goal. Alex Tuch scoring one that he stole off of Jack Eichel's stick, took it across the blue line and put it into an empty netter to seal the deal. So it was poetic justice as a Sabres fan. This is like the man who has been, you know, you wanted it to work out so good. You were like, I'm going to marry this chick. We're going to have a life together. And then it's just constant, like she's sucking the soul from you, that kind of thing. And then once she's gone, you're like, thank God. And you just hope to God that your life is better than hers. That's what you're praying for. Even though you wish her the best, you go, oh yeah, we wish you the best. You want her to have the worst. That's what you really secretly want. And that's how it is with Jack Eichel. And so when he came back, the Buffalo Sabres fans booed him like hell. And that's where I think you'll find interest in this story, because I'm sure you like a good booing, just a good shellacking. I mean, every time he touched the puck, boo! I mean, like I said, not even 2,000 people show up to a Sabres game on average this season or the past couple seasons. At that evening, 13,000 people showed up just to boo the hell out of the man that contributed to ruining the team. And many people who aren't Sabres fans, they don't understand this aspect of it. They're like, why would you boo Jack Eichel? It's not his fault they were so bad. It kind of was. And it also, you know, he was just a petulant child through it. If you were following it all along, you would have seen, you know, he had some tendencies that weren't necessarily leadership qualities, you know? And so when he came back, and I mean, every time he touched the puck, he got booed. He got slammed to the boards. People cheered. They're like, ah! And he was kept to no points, no goals, no assists, nothing. And everybody loved that. They showed a tribute video for Jack Eichel, too, during everything. And they were smart. The Buffalo Sabres organization, very smart and intelligent. And you'll appreciate this even if you have no skin in this at all. Throwing cancer kids onto a touchy subject always makes everybody pacified, right? So they did a tribute video for Jack Eichel, and they put up some kids from Roswell, which is a cancer institute in Buffalo, and that's how the video started. Thank you, Jack Eichel, from the cancer kids. That way, when they started the video, if they throw up the cancer kids, who's going to boo the cancer kids? There are a few. Let's just put it that way. And some guys, in the audience, they're getting ready for the tribute video. He goes, oh, here comes the tribute video. Boo! Oh, shit, that's a cancer kid. Fuck. Now I look like a real prick. So they did that, but the second his face came on there, the boos started again. And they had to go back and forth. Then a cancer kid gets tossed in there. So they're like, boo! Yeah. They're kind of, it was a real wishy-washy. But then, thank God, we won the game. And so the Sabres were riding high going into the Heritage Classic, which is an outdoor game. They played it on TNT, and I got home in time to watch it from the airport. I was so excited. It was like, my Sunday was surrounding it, and it was a great game. The Sabres ended up winning 5-2 over the ever-hated Toronto Maple Leafs. And so I was so excited for the game, I actually tweeted something about it, and the broadcast shared my tweet. Now, my tweet is nothing special. All I said was, this TNT NHL broadcast crew is super fun. You got Gretzky, greatest of all time. His insight is interesting, even though it turned out, we'll get into the fact that it turned out not to be so interesting. And then you got Paul Bissonnette, Biz Nasty, baby. He's hilarious. One of the best choices you could put onto any pregame, intermission, postgame type of report panel in the history of time. Lots of laughs, great choices. So I said that, and I said, let's go Buffalo. They posted it up there. My phone blew up. People are texting me still. As you can see it right there. They never gave me like a shout out or anything, just kind of played it as they were coming back into, or out of break, excuse me. But this is my new theory on social media, by the way. This is my new, I guess not theory, but what I'm going to start practicing when it comes to social media. And I am going to just, I don't care. I mean, I'm trying to be funny or whatever for the most part, but when it comes to tweeting, I am going to try and tweet things that are just nice, things that I actually mean. And Ennie said that was real nerd shit, by the way, what I tweeted. He laughed. He said that's real, because he knows I watch broadcasts like a psychopath. So he just said that. He's like, that's like the nerdiest shit I've ever seen, which I thought was funny. But yeah, no, I'm going to just start tweeting things that I find joy in, and I'm going to tweet to them positively, because it always comes back positive. And you know what's so funny is that there's just so many people online that I've noticed, they just, all they want to do is like be like fake, not real. You know what I thought was hilarious? All I said was, this is hilarious. I said the fact that, and I didn't even say the fact that he said it, but there was a rumor that Amari Cooper, before he got traded to the Cleveland Browns this weekend, there was a rumor that he had a dispute with his quarterback on the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, and he said, "You're just black Kirk Cousins." Which I find hilarious, because Kirk Cousins mediocre in my opinion, even though people will fight me on that, and they did. But now, so I just said, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. I don't know if I'll ever say something that funny or that will make me laugh that hard. And everyone was like, fake, he didn't really do it. It's fake. It's fake. I go, I don't care if it's real or not. It's hilarious. And I don't know that I will ever say something that funny, in my opinion. That's the point of the tweet. I don't care if it's fake. So if you're a person on the internet who is going around and just writing fake on stuff, I feel so bad for you that you just will never experience joy. It's terrible. So don't be that guy. Be the guy who tweets about how fun the broadcast is, and then you'll get on television. I also tweeted another thing. Kirsten, can you pull up my Twitter account? I think it's the third one down currently. Many people said that a different tweet should have been used by the broadcast, and I agree. So if you just go to my count there, yes, go to the third one down, the third one not from the pinned one. There you go. There you go right there. This is the tweet that many people were saying the folks at TNT should use. And you know what's funny? I tweeted this with no context other than let's go Buffalo. That's me in my very first apartment. Oh, back in 2007. Many moon ago. And you know what people were writing under that one? Gay! And I was like, that's the joke. It's supposed to be. Super gay looking. Like you thought I just did that? And I was like, this is cool. I mean, Twitter is fucking stupid. I fucking can't stand it sometimes. But it is funny to hear people do that kind of gay. Like go look at the replies on that one right there. Let's just see what they're. Oh, that one's a good reply. I like that. See, some of them are great. There's the flare. People get it. A lot of people get it. But like I can't see very well. But so like, can you see any ones that are of the ilk in which I'm discussing? I'm
looking for some that are saying gay.
Maybe it was just on the original one, but someone.
I don't know. I'm seeing some love for you here.
No, there is tons of love. It's just the one or two that I just think that's funny that there are people that are like.
Yep, there it is. It got hidden at the very, very end.
Hidden.
They wanted to hide him.
They hide the mean ones. Yeah. There's like other ones that are like looking a little ladylike, and I'm like, yeah, that's the joke, man. That's what I'm just gonna start doing. When people don't understand when people just like explain the joke to you back to you, you're like, I'm just gonna start writing, that's the joke. But what a fun game and what a fun weekend. Everyone should enjoy hockey. If you don't watch hockey, just give it a whirl. People are like, how do you see the puck, Josh? If I can see the puck, you can see the puck. Maybe I just know the sport well enough where I know where it's going, or I understand the flow of the game or whatever. Maybe people who are new to it, they don't know where to put their eyes. I don't know. But if I can see the puck, you most certainly can see the puck. And I know it seemed like we were in the news already, but we weren't. And so I wanted to get into the news. You know what I wanted to get into before I get into the news, or into the sports, excuse me? The Patreon. We're going to have so much fun this week on the Patreon. We've already been having so much fun. Someone actually, I saw on Reddit. Yes, I looked at Reddit one time. And I saw on there a person was like, does Josh actually post consistently on Patreon? I post unbelievably consistently on Patreon. So if that's a fear of yours, before you check it out, we've already got 10 episodes of the podcast up there. Sometimes we do them twice a week. And then there are other ancillary things like Bergman, who I do the podcast with. It's Potter and Bergman. He does his own little side show called Horsies with Bergman, because the man is a degenerate just like me, but in a different capacity. And he bets on the ponies. And I got to tell you, if you've been betting with him, you've won enough money to pay for the Patreon. So I think that's the one blessing. Oh no, none of mine hit because I had Davidson winning their championship tournament, and they lost by, I think, 2 points in the championship game. So did not work out. But the Patreon is firing away, and this weekend going to be in Vegas for March Madness. So I wanted to one more time let you know, go over to patreon.com/The Josh Potter Show and get signed up. And also, by the way, if you want to submit anything, whether it be like DJ Everyday at the beginning of the program, who gave us that wonderful musical number, Grover, if you want to submit yours, if you want to submit an article, if you want to submit anything, just some feedback, you can do it over at joshpottershow@gmail.com. I actually had an interesting message from a member of the Patreon via the email. This is from Jessica, who's a member of the trans community and wanted to give the trans insight into the fly debate, Kirsten.
Hell yeah. And I'm excited to hear
it. So she said that now she sits down. So the fly is ancillary. But in the before times, she was a through the fly person, and she thinks anybody who goes over the waist band is a dunderhead. A real window licker. She used other words, 90s ones.
Can't abide such idiocy any longer.
Today's Josh Potter Show is brought to us by DraftKings Sportsbook. Join the action on the court during the biggest college basketball tournament of the year. Right now, with DraftKings Sportsbook, I mentioned this on my Patreon, there is a girl I went to high school with who just had the best cans in the history of time, and she went to Davidson, and I picked Davidson to win their championship tournament because of those cans that just are in my brain forever. And guess what? They came within a basket, basically, of winning that. And now I am picking them to upset in the first round. They're going to upset Michigan State. Gotta ride with the cans. So I might not be educated or right, but I'm betting real money on this. So therefore, you can roll with me or you don't have to. And you can turn your team's victory, whatever you take with the DraftKings Sportsbook, into your own win. Right now, new customers can bet $5 on any team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. If they win, you win. If the Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still join the college hoops action with DraftKings Pools. Everyone can play free pools all March long for a shot of at a share of over $250,000 in prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use promo code Josh Potter, all one word. Bet $5 on any college hoops team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. If they win, you win with promo code Josh Potter this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 and over. Restrictions apply. See show notes for the details. Today's Josh Potter Show is also brought to us by LiquidIV. Just this past week, I shot a music video with Mr. Mobius and Mr. Clavicles and a bunch of other people, and it was so much fun, but I got absolutely tossed all day long. So Thursday, when I had to go fly on an airplane, I was feeling it. And you know what I drank a whole bunch of? Liquid IVs. And I felt right as rain. When I got to Portland, I went on a date that night. That's how wonderful I was feeling. I mean, good golly. I wouldn't have been able to accomplish that without Liquid IV. And I'll tell you why it works. You see, it's because one stick of Liquid IV in 16 ounces of water hydrates faster and more efficiently than water alone. It's got 5 essential vitamins: B3, B5, B6, B12, and of course vitamin C, with 3 times the electrolytes of just traditional sports drinks. Made with premium ingredients, non-GMO and free from gluten, dairy, and soy. What makes Liquid IV so effective? Well, the science of cellular transport technology, designed to enhance rapid absorption of water and other key ingredients into the bloodstream. One stick of Liquid IV in a 16 ounce of water hydrates faster and more efficiently than water alone. And also it's got a bunch of potassium in it. It's wonderful. Liquid IV is also, by the way, donated 19 million servings globally. So right now you can grab Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code Josh at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order when you use promo code Josh at liquidiv.com. Experience better hydration today at liquidiv.com, promo code Josh. Is basically the sentiment. But let's get into the sports again. JoshPotterShow@gmail.com if you want to submit anything, and I would appreciate that you do. Beep, 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 beep. Yes, the March Madness tournament about to begin, and this is my favorite time of the year. I don't follow basketball is my distant fourth sport, and I don't follow it well enough at all. I said this with the Stavros when we had him on a couple of weeks ago. I love the mental aspect of basketball, how like mentally into a pretzel these people get sometimes, these players, and how they just they have to have such team chemistry really to be productive. Otherwise, if they have like a guy they hate on their team, they just fall apart. Like Kirsten, you're better with basketball than me. There was a guy, do you remember this guy, Markelle Fultz or something like that? Is that a person that am I saying his name right, from the 76ers years ago? I'm not super familiar with like older stuff. I mean, I'm really just into like the Bulls this season. Yeah. Okay. So this guy though, 76ers, I think he was on, and he like forgot how to shoot all of a sudden. And then Ben Simmons was on the 76ers, and he was like claiming mental illness, not showing up to practice, stuff like that, saying he needed like mental days, and they traded him, and now he's like, I'm mentally wonderful. Let's go Nets. So it is strange. That part of it's fascinating to me. So I'm looking forward to it. But my whole point is, I don't know basketball at all. But when March Madness rolls around, since I was 12 years old, I am obsessed with just the tournament. You would think that would lead me to do my research to the weeks leading up or watch some of the regular season in order to get more of an insight. No. I won brackets in my teenage years a couple of times and into my 20s a couple of times. Like, I want to say I've won like 5 times in a bracket thing. And it juices me for life. Now I'm upset. I'm like, that's my strategy. Why would I go in with research when I can go in blind like I do everything else in life, and I can come out a winner like I do in the rest of life, right? But this year, I decided I was going to watch the championship tournaments, and I made some bets on them, and I lost some of them, and I won some of them. But I was excited to see your alma mater, Kirsten, go to the Big 10 Championship.
Yeah, man, I was actually really pumped for it too.
And they won. Congratulations.
Hell yes.
J-Bo, what's his name? Bohannon. I forget his first name, but yeah, hey, wonderful stuff. Interesting, exciting. Now, how do you think they're going to do in the tournament? Do you have any insight as to what I should look out for? Should I have them going pretty deep or what? What do you think?
Man, I don't know. See, that's the other thing is, like, I'm not super into college basketball either, but whenever I do my brackets, it's always at random. I could see them going a little far, though.
Yeah, it's kind of like you just do it based off the rankings. Like, I've known people who just don't know shit about shit, and they just go like, who knows? Yeah,
but and then you get those huge upsets in there that just, even if you go off the rankings, then your bracket's just fucked.
Oh, but that's the thing. That's guessing the upsets. I don't know. I mean, I'll get into it on my Patreon. I'm not going to spill all my secrets here. But during the the game that it took for them to go to the finals, the Iowa Hawkeyes played against the Indiana Hoosiers, and they won 80-77. Now, the exciting thing happened in the broadcast. We love a good broadcast gaffe, don't we? And this had a great team on CBS. I mean, Jim Nantz. You can't get higher than that. Jim Nantz is the top of the line for CBS. He's the number one duo on NFL games. He does the Masters. He is the go-to man. He's the Al Michaels of CBS. He's the Joe Buck of CBS. If you don't know who any of those guys are, Joe Buck's on Fox, Al Michaels, NBC. Although Joe Buck just got a big deal to go host Monday Night Football, so we'll see how that goes for ABC and ESPN and such, and if Fox has to replace him. It's going to be very interesting. But so Jim Nantz is calling this game. During the first half, Indiana and Iowa were locked in, a real back-and-forth effort. Indiana was leading at that time, and when CBS was cutting to commercials, Jim Nantz referred to it as a game of runs before accidentally saying the Hawkeyes sharted that dead-eye shooting of theirs. Sharted that dead-eyed shooting of theirs. What do you think he meant to say in that regard? Shotted? That's not even a word. Jim Nantz is a wordsmith. I can't believe he would even go down this path, so it is very interesting. So 2 poopy references. Game of runs. Sharted that dead-eye shooting of theirs. Let's see if we can hear it.
A set of game of runs. Indiana hot to start. Then the Hawkeyes started that dead-eye shooting of theirs.
He meant to say started. I'm like, what would sharted have been? Started. And there's actually 3 poopy references in there. Game of runs. They started off hot. And then they sharted that dead-eyed shooting of theirs. Can we hear it one more time? Sorry, I know you just got it off the screen. Did you delete it?
Nope, give me 1 second. I'll pull back up.
And then what else could he could have kept going? What if he really meant to do poopy references? And Indiana started out hot. And then they really shat their pants. Like, he just gets blatant with it.
A set of game of runs. Indiana hot to start. Then the Hawkeyes started that dead-eye shooting of theirs.
He's got brown stuff in his pants. He just gets real blatant. Left the log on the floor. Oh, man, that is exciting stuff. So who knows what we're going to get this weekend? There's so many games. So much wonderful shit's going to be happening. No pun intended. But guess what? It didn't end there. Afterwards, Waterloo, Iowa television station where Kirsten used to work, evidently.
Yes, I did. I did do a small internship here, so I think it's hilarious that they goofed this.
do you know anybody that worked there that would get like super upset about this? Like, is this something? Because I remember
there were definitely some people that were like, no nonsense. I'm sure that once this got through, there were some talking tos.
Winning shit, because it's supposed to say winning shot, but instead it says about Jordan Bohannon, J-Bo, who's the big star over at Iowa, after his game-winning shit. Now, that'd be interesting if there was. What if that was actually, they're like, nope, that's accurate. He shat on the floor, and the team, Indiana was so confused. They're like, is he shitting in the corner on the fucking floor of the game? They were so confused that the team went down and scored. So he had a game-winning shit partner. That'd be one hell of a thing. But yeah, no, March Madness is going to be taking off this weekend. If you've never watched before, maybe this is the time. And if you have, and you're more of an expert than I, well, then get into the Patreon and join up with the bracket contest, because you can win some of my money then. And you don't have to spend any other than, signing up for the Patreon and whatnot. The other big news, obviously, baseball is back. I'm excited about that. And baseball and NFL free agency has just been in a whirlwind. Sussell Wilson has been traded to the Denver Broncos, now making that old Sussell shirt of ours a collector's item, so to speak. Maybe we'll have to whip one up for the Denver Broncos. I didn't want to sell shirts coming up here. I have some hats that I'm going to be selling soon. So if you're interested, they'll be up soon. And also, I'll be having them on the road, hopefully for the summertime. So that's exciting. But I didn't want to have shirts. But now that Sussell has been traded to the Denver Broncos, Mr. Unlimited, I might have to modify the one that we already had and sold so well, sold out. I might have to do that with a Denver Broncos type thing. So we'll see how that goes. Just something I'm thinking about in the moment. The other thing that happened, and I'm not surprised by this, and there's tons of jokes all over the internet talking about this, it's Tom Brady coming back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Remember, 40 days ago, he said, I retire. And everyone was like, aren't you happy, Josh? Aren't you excited? This is the man who has been my nemesis for 20-some years until he went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then I didn't really care that he existed any longer. People were like, aren't you happy? The Wicked Witch is dead and that kind of thing. And I really wasn't, because you know why? He went out kind of statistically on top of his game, not necessarily winning a Super Bowl or whatever. Obviously, he lost early on this year in the playoffs. And I never really thought he was gone. Like, there was something in my heart or in my balls or up my ass, something in there that told me that Tom Brady's not done yet. And 40 days later, the man returns to Twitter to let us know he is coming back for his 23rd season in the NFL. He is no longer retired, and that he will be returning as the free agent frenzy was beginning, you see, because he was worried, what are they going to do? He had to make that announcement now because people are like, what is Tampa Bay doing at quarterback next year? So he posted a video on his Instagram, by the way, in his stories, which kind of leaked this because he was with soccer star Cristiano Ronaldo. And Ronaldo asked him, you're finished, right? And Brady's answer was not audible, but the expression on his face suggested he really hadn't closed the door on his retirement. And so many people are out there making jokes. They're like, Brady must hate his kids. There's like these hack jokes now that everyone's like, there's 13,100 people doing it. Oh, he must hate his wife. 2 weeks did you see Tom Brady? He must have saw gas prices and signed back up. Some of them, you laugh at them or whatever. But here's the thing. I see all your jokes. None of that is true. Tom Brady, he must have just finished the season. He was all sore. He's feeling it now. When you finish the season at 44 years old, you feel it. And you're like, I don't want to get back into that horse shit again. And so I feel like he retired a little rash. And then time went on. He was like, I'm not quite done yet, But in my heart and in my brain, I knew he'd be back. And here he is, unsurprising. None of it is surprising to me. And he's never going to go anywhere. I'm going to die before he retires from the NFL. I've aged past him. I was a child. I was a literal child 23 years ago. He is now younger than me, visually. It is insane. Here's a statement Sunday evening. Bucks general manager Jason Licht, who's the luckiest fucking man in the world because he was going to have to fucking find a new quarterback. That definitely wouldn't have been as good as that. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers would have been back into obscurity for who knows how long, especially in that division. He said the announcement was something the team had been preparing for in recent days. Head coach Bruce Arians and I have had plenty of conversation with Tom recently that led us to believe there was a realistic chance that he would want to come back. Tom is the greatest quarterback of all time who is still playing at an elite level. With this decision now made, we will continue to move forward with our offseason plans to reload the roster for another championship run. Ugh. I wish people wrote the joke about how it's like maybe his sons didn't want to make out with him enough, so he decided he was going to go back where he could make out with his teammates or something. I don't know. Get Gronk back and make out with him. No one talked about the son kissing. They just talked about Tom Brady must hate his kids. I think he loved them a little too much and then realized he wasn't going to get that love in return. Maybe his son's growing up now and he's like, my son doesn't want to kiss me on the lips anymore. It's time to leave the house. Oh, but elsewhere in the world, as I mentioned, Russell Wilson traded to Denver. I wonder if the mile-high air will affect his sanity anymore. I think we're going to get some great clips out of Russell Wilson in Denver. You know, when he's up in the altitude and everything like that, he's going to start getting real loopy. And maybe the facade breaks down a little bit. Maybe the machine, the robot that is Russ, that is Suss, will break down a little bit, and we'll find him having a couple of chinks in his armor. You know what I mean? We'll start seeing through the cracks. Some of the bodies will float to the surface. Today's Josh Potter Show also brought to us by Babbel. I've been reading a lot about art, which is so weird. I just thought, like, what's something incredibly boring that I could try and teach myself about? So I decided art was the thing, and I kind of got into it. So now I want to go to France and like sound like a real smart guy about art. But you can't do that without knowing French. And that's the thing that Babbel's trying to teach me now. And it's actually coming pretty easily because for most of us, learning a second language in high school or college wasn't exactly like the high point in our academic careers. You know, I took Spanish and I can get by a little bit, but I'm nowhere near close to being functional as far as it goes. But now, thanks to Babbel, the language learning app that's sold over 10 million subscriptions, there's an addictively fun and easy way to learn a new language. Whether you'll be traveling abroad, connecting in a deeper way with family, or you just have some free time, Babbel teaches bite-sized little language lessons that you'll actually use in the real world. It's pretty interesting. I went out to a French restaurant recently, the foie gras, remember? And I actually spoke a little bit. Kind of threw it out there. What's up? Babbel's 15-minute lessons make it the perfect way to learn a new language on the go. Other language learning apps use AI for their lesson plans. That's bad. Babbel uses lessons that were created by over 100 language experts. Their teaching method has been scientifically proven to be effective. With Babbel, you can choose from 14 different languages, by the way. So if it's not Spanish or French, it could also be, Italian, German. There's plenty. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology helps you improve your pronunciation and accent. It's actually got you saying the words into the phone and telling you, you screwed up or nice job. So right now, when you purchase a 3-month subscription to Babbel, you'll get an additional 3 months for free, thanks to me. That's 6 months for the price of 3, just by going to Babbel.com and using the promo code Josh. That's Babbel.com, code Josh. Babbel, language for life. From head to toe, your body is made up of trillions of cells, which are busy performing their specific functions to keep you healthy and resilient. That's why today's Josh Potter Show is brought to us by TruNiagen. You got to keep up with all the work that your cells are doing. A sufficient supply of an essential molecule called NAD+ must be maintained for the cells to perform their normal functions, which include creating ATP for cellular energy, repairing your cells, and supporting healthy mitochondria. Many common lifestyle factors that can decrease your cells' NAD+ levels or supply include alcohol consumption, this guy, excess sun exposure, not so much for me, poor diet, that one's me, and even environmental factors such as pollution, by the way. We all have to deal with that, right? Over 6 human clinical trials have been demonstrated that daily supplementation with NR, known as Niagen, can safely and effectively elevate your NAD+ levels, giving each one of your hardworking cells exactly what it needs to perform at its best. How do you get it? Well, come on over, my friend, because since taking TruNiagen, I feel at peace knowing it is researched by the top scientific institutions in the world, and right now, new customers can save 20% on their first purchase by going to TruNiagen.com/Potter using the code word Potter. That's TruNiagen.com/Potter. Use code Potter to save 20% on your first purchase. TruNiagen.com/Potter. Use the code Potter. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. But I got an interesting email at joshpottershow@gmail.com. This is from Raph. He said, "Hey, Josh, did you read about the riot at the Mexican stadium where the home team fans, which is Querétaro, I hope I'm saying that right, Querétaro, for my Mexican fans out there, they beat the living shit out of the visiting fans of Atlas. A lot of footage from the guys being jumped to unconsciousness, stripped naked, and beaten, some more. Officials say 17 plus sent to the hospital with 0 dead, while others are saying there were multiple dead." And that's what I think is very hilarious. Not hilarious. If there's people dead, that's not hilarious, but it is wild that there's almost like governmental cover-ups in this league, which is Liga MX, by the way, the Mexican league, and also around the world. FIFA is a notoriously corrupt organization, and this is just some of the trickle down from that. I mean, it is just, soccer is wildly corrupt, and I'm here for it. I love it all. As a person who's just an observer, a fan, I'm here for it because sometimes it leads to fun within this. You get fun little stories, you know, but most of them tragic and awful. I mean, FIFA, they'll build a stadium in the middle of the Amazon and have like people buried underneath it because they're working them too hard. So, I mean, they're terrible people, but that's why this comes as no surprise. If there were people that died in this riot at the stadium amongst fans, they're going to cover it up. They'll be like, no, it's just a little skirmish. This happens. You know, there's times it happens in the NFL too. I remember there was an Oakland Raiders versus San Francisco 49ers game. This is years ago before they went to Vegas. Obviously huge, not rivalry, but not in terms of the NFL, but rivalry geographically between Oakland and San Francisco. And there was a stabbing at that game and one person had died. And there was, you know, people have died at the Bills games, but not from people beating people up. There was a guy who just got super drunk and like tried to walk home, I think, and he died in a river or something like that. He fell into a little creek. Stuff like that. That kind of stuff happens at the Bills games. And, you know, they're not necessarily stoked when those things don't get covered up either. But this is just a wild scenario here. Do you have footage of this, or is this just images?
There's just some really wild images of...
Let's see describe them to me.
This one, there's just like a wired fence, and it looks like someone's throwing a whole barrel.
Well, that's the thing. They keep the fans in Mexico separated by barbed wire, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the fences at the prison where my mom works.
Yeah, it's like jail stuff. And they figured out how to get over it with what, like a towel or something? Or are they throwing that guy over?
I don't know. Maybe it's like a poster, but it looks cylinder. It looks like they're throwing a trash can.
Yeah,
this person's trying to climb it. He's wild.
Yeah, he's going to try to go over it. So let's just see if this gives us a little bit of light on it. The first arrests were made in the wake of the violent March 5th riot that took place during a Mexican League match at Querétaro, and the league owners issued sanctions and took other extraordinary measures following one of the darkest days for the sport in Mexico. It's like they're taking a page out of Biden's book. They're like, oh, you know, Biden put sanctions on Russia. Sanctions are I think sanctions are the word of 2022. State police launched a search for 26 individuals. Authorities have arrested 10 so far, so they must have seen these images and identified people based off of pictures and videos. Identified in a brawl that erupted among supporters in the stands during a Liga MX game between the two teams. Those fights spilled onto the field and caused the suspension of the match, as well as other matches that same weekend from Mexico's top division. The scenes from the riot at the stadium were disturbing, graphic, and violent, and they led to outrage across the Mexican soccer community and calls for accountability and change. As of March 8th, As of March 8th, there were no official reports of deaths from the incidents, which left 26 hospitalized, with 5 in serious condition and 1 in critical condition. The owners of the league met on March 8th in an extraordinary session called by the league president, who has promised to mete out exemplary punishment and reassess the relationship of clubs with their supporter groups. That's weird. So what are they going to do with that? How are they going to reassess the relationship with the supporter groups? How can you pacify a fan? I don't understand that at all. Because, technically the teams probably love this. They're like, these people will murder for us. That's something. But if you're a player on the team and you fuck up, that is terrifying. Because, you could see it here in professional sports in America, and I'm sure it's the same there. It's not like maybe 99.5% of the players who play for a team never grew up watching that team or have the fandom that the fans have, even an iota of that fandom. So when you're just a guy who's good at soccer and you get hired by one of these teams and you fuck up, now you're like families getting threats and shit like that. That's wild. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? So here are some of the banned traveling. They're going to, oh my God, he has already banned traveling fan groups in Liga MX and a new fan ID registration system. So you think it's bad here, you got to show your Vax card every now and then to get into something. These people can't go to a soccer game without proving who they're a fan of. So if you're a fan of the away team and you go in there and you're just some normal guy, you're like, I'm not trying to murder someone over a soccer game. You can't even go. Like, I live in LA. The Bills are coming to play the Los Angeles Rams. Say I went to SoFi Stadium and I'm like, I'm a Bill. Here's my Bills papers, Gestapo. They're like, you can't come in here. You're going to fucking kill somebody. It's a little pre-crime-esque, isn't it? A little Minority Report. Do we have any? Can you see if there's any videos of these? I know I didn't send you one. But if there's anything on the top of the internet, I'd love to see something. No team ban. Quetero's men's, women's, and youth teams will not be banned, but they will play their home games behind closed doors for 1 year. So these guys are going back to like COVID rules, no fans. There is a stadium ban. It's conditional. The stadium, which is called Corregidora Stadium. I'm bad at, I make Mexicans sound Japanese when I say it. They're banned from hosting matches for a year. But the teams can still play in that stadium as long as the matches are played behind closed doors and a 3 kilometer security radius is established by state officials. This is insane. Let's see some of these videos while we're discussing the other things. Supporters group ban. The supporters of this team will be banned for 3 years from home games and 1 year from away games. Why just 1 year from away games and 3 years from home games? I don't understand that. That doesn't make any sense. So they're allowed to go to away games where they will most assuredly get into a ruckus. You can keep playing it as I talk over this. The owners and management ban. The current owners and management are suspended for 5 years. I don't know what they have to do with anything. What are the owners and managers supposed to do? Get killed also? I mean, they hate them. Imagine, if you will, your favorite. I mean, how many people, their favorite sports teams, they get pissed off and they just go rant and rave about the coach and the GM and everything like that. We got to get a new. Imagine, if you will, a bloodthirsty crowd now. And then they have to take the runt of it. They're getting fined, of course, and the ownership reverts to its former owner. Oh, that's fucking funny. This guy's losing his team. So I don't understand what the owners and everything have to do with it. Maybe somebody who's more familiar with this type of thing can write into joshpottershow@gmail.com and can let us know the things that could have been done to prevent this, or why the onus is on the ownership and the GM and the coaches and everything like that. Here's all the people spilling out to the crowd. I'm sure they don't have any full-on death happening. This just looks like a fun time. This looks like your team won and you storm the court. This is why they don't want you to storm the field, by the way, because they fear this kind of thing is going to happen. Although this makes me love American sports even more, that we can storm a field, we can storm a court, and it's all love, baby. It's all love. Very few times. I mean, there are fights and stands, but God bless the fans of the NFL and most of the major American sports that we don't get this fucking crazy. This is nuts.
Look at this couple here. Like, everyone's getting beat to death, and they just stop to take a photo holding hands with a peace sign up.
Look at that. Yeah, look at these.
Like, we
She's
should
doing a
just-
selfie.
Yeah, let's, like, mark this moment together.
Well, you know what it is? And here's the thing. Like, if you're not taking part in the rioting, you're like, oh, my God, we get to go on the field? That's fun. So, yeah, sure, there's a guy getting his head bludgeoned over in the corner. But you're like, hey, let's go stand center field and take a lovely picture. See, they're real fans. That's kind of like watching the hippie put the flower into the barrel of the gun in the Vietnam pictures or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like that. We just saw that. It was a beautiful beacon of love and fandom amongst a mired sort of situation. Wrapping up the sports, though, we've got this interesting story about Brittany Griner. Now, if you don't know this deal, Brittany Griner is being detained in Russia right now, which is not a place you want to be detained, if you ask me. But Brittany Griner is a WNBA star, former college basketball star, and she is sort of a hired hand, if you will, for other leagues around the world. That's what she was doing in Russia to begin with, because that's what everybody keeps saying. Why would Brittany Griner be in Russia? Well, it turns out she goes there annually, just about, to play in a league in Russia that actually pays her more than the WNBA does. And evidently, this last time she went over, amidst all this muck and mire with the war versus Ukraine, they detained her because she evidently had hash oil on her. Now, some people are saying there's no way she had hash oil on her. This is the Russian government planting this for whatever reason. But even if she did have hash oil and it's illegal and whatnot, that could have happened before. But people are like, why was she in Russia during this tumultuous time? And I'll tell you why. It's because the WNBA does not pay dick. And I don't know that they ever could. I mean, nobody goes, nobody watches. It's very in a sad state of affairs. And I don't know what these people want out of society, because there's people like, this is the WNBA's fault for not paying enough. She has to go play in Russia every year to make a bag. I don't know what you want the WNBA to do. They wish they were as successful as they can be. They're not. I don't know if you want the owners aren't making any money on these teams. And most of the teams, by the way, like, for instance, the Lakers own the Sparks. So a lot of the case, it's kind of like a lost leader for these fucking NBA teams, because they're so woke, even though they love that China dick. They're so woke that they buy the WNBA team too, and they support that. So maybe there is enough money to be distributed to the players to make it a little bit more beneficial, but nobody buying tickets to this shit. So unless you can convince the world that the product is good enough to watch, the salaries are going to stay dog shit, and poor people like Brittany, or the poor athletes of the WNBA like Brittany Griner, are going to have to go play in these foreign leagues where they get more money. And I started thinking about that if I were in a position like that. Say with comedy, if I got paid less here, but I could go to Russia and make like a bag every year, my ass would be in Russia every year. I'm sorry. It just would. And especially like I would be, should I bring weed? If I had done it every year for like 6 years, where I know the routine of like the security and everything like that, and I start to get a little bit comfortable, I probably would have bring hash oil or something like that too. So it's, people are like, I can't understand how she would even be over there. I can totally put myself in her shoes and understand all of it at this point. You go there every year, it starts to get a little comfortable. Yeah, there's some geopolitical stuff happening right now, but let me just go over there, play my fucking basketball, come back, get my bag, be all set. It's very wild. So I do, like I said, I do understand, but I hope she gets back safe, and I hope she's not detained for too long, but nobody's trying to help her. There has been stories actually where some of the people from the United States government are looking into it or whatever, some nerd shit, but they got other things going on, and she hasn't been released yet. If it was fucking, LeBron or something over there, the whole world would be like, bring LeBron home, So there's a little bit of that going on as well. But let's get into the news here as we continue things along on the Josh Potter Show. And I wanted to start the news with another story out of Ukraine and the whole Russia-Ukraine dispute, obviously. That's just being reductive, describing it simply as a dispute. It is a unbelievable massacre that's happening, and I feel terrible for all the Ukrainian people, especially the Roaches that we had on last time, and any other Roaches, by the way, that are listening in Ukraine. I did hear from 2 other ones, and, I can't believe how many people in Ukraine listen to the fucking show. It's very wild. So thank you, by the way, for doing that. And I also wanted to pass along that everyone is safe so far that we've had on from last week. So thank you again to Oksana and Zevalod for sharing your time. And if you missed it again, go back and watch last week's episode. But more things are coming as a fallout from the war that's happening over there. This is from Jonathan in Austria, who sent this in, another over-the-seas roach. Pornhub actors from Russia and Ukraine are protesting the war. Let's see how they're doing that. Are they protesting it by fucking? God, I hope so. In a video uploaded to Pornhub on Monday, Kiev sits in quiet darkness. Few lights are on in apartment buildings across the landscape while the camera pans across the city. Kate, behind the camera, breathes shallowly. As the air raid sirens begin to blare in the distance, this is getting hot. No? Is this not getting sexy? As air raid sirens begin to blare in the distance, more lights blink on, people waking up to the sounds of the 5th day of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. This week was the first time Kate, an adult performer, has ever heard air raid sirens in her life. Before Russia started bombing her city last week, Kate uploaded videos of herself and a partner having sex on that very balcony overlooking Kiev. Playing in nightclub restrooms and naked in the woods. So now she's hoping people see her video on Pornhub, hear the sirens, and remember that it could happen to them. I wonder if she's making these statements. She's breathing shallowly. Is she having sex on there again? She's like, this could happen to you. Don't let Putin fuck you. I've never heard an air raid siren before. I've never been in a bomb shelter, Kate told me in a direct message. I live in a city with over 3 million people. I want to go to restaurants, bars, theaters, cinemas. This is how many people live in Europe, America, Asia. With this video, I want to say that even today, no one is immune from war. Well, that's very true. That's what we discussed with our Roaches last week, that it's just, this is a country of, metropolitan cities. This isn't, It's a little weirder, and this is callous to say, but when it's a third world country, you're kind of distanced from it because we don't understand the people's way of life there anyway. We think, that's just what part of living there is like. You wake up and you poop in a hole and then you have bombs and it's a terrible place to live. They got a shit end of the stick. But this is again, a very modern, populated country. So it's so wild, and it does put us into put us into their shoes a little bit more because we could kind of start imagining it happening here. So she thinks, no one's immune to this, though I would suggest living on the border of a dictatorship like Russia kind of, it's a little more probable than being in a landlocked country like ours, but I don't know. Others in Ukraine are using Pornhub to get the word out about their situation. That's interesting that Pornhub has become a beacon like that. It did that during other political things too. I want to say during George Floyd and stuff like that, the Pornhub people were posting things on there. Pornhub is just, by the way, anybody can post to Pornhub. Did you know that, Kirsten?
Yeah, because I also feel like when there was stuff going on with the Australian wildfire stuff, people were posting things that were not sex related.
Yeah, they were just videos.
Yeah.
And then they come up in the algorithm, and I don't know if they put keywords that are anal, blow bang, stuff like that. They put that into the videos so that they crop up when they come up next, I don't know. But they should throw some porn into the advocacy, if you ask me. That's the new type of porn that is not being utilized enough. We need more woke porn. I want to see more woke porn. And I want to see more porn that has a message, don't you? At the end of the day, I wonder if she'll be making some of it. Alongside videos from Ukrainian content creators, Russian porn performers are also using their platform to protest Russia's invasion. One Russian couple who make videos for Pornhub and goes by the name Bi-Sex Couple Family Free spoke out in protest with a video statement 4 days ago. The couple, which normally posts short point-of-view videos with titles like "Dank Warm Sperm in the Car," they sit side by side fully clothed and speak gravelly about their opposition to the war, explaining that they are hurt and ashamed when they see what the Russian government is doing. In the eyes of the whole world, our country now looks like an aggressor through the fault of our authorities. The only thing we can do now is not to be silent and express our opinions. Well, that's very wonderful. Dank warm sperm in the car. Ugh, that doesn't give me a fucking boner. Options for accessing non-state media from within Russia have narrowed in the last week. Twitter is banned in Russia, Facebook is restricted, and most independent Russian news outlets are blocked. I thought I read a thing that Pornhub was blocking themselves in Russia. So it's good that they're not, actually, because you have people like this, people like, what are they called again? Bisex family free? Why do they have to put family free? I guess that's getting so crazy out there with the stepsister, stepbrother, stepdaddy thing that they have to put family free in their fucking name or in their title. Porn performer Luxury Girls, this girl's name is Luxury Girl, all one word. Check her out on Pornhub. Her video says, "No to the war." It's gotten 36.7 thousand views since she uploaded it 6 days ago, the first day of the invasion. Her Pornhub profile says she's based in Estonia. In it, she stares at the camera and flips through a series of cards. Russians and Ukrainians are brotherly nations. Russian and Ukrainian citizens are against military action. Do not jump to the conclusions based on misinformation manipulated by the media. We are all hurt by what is happening right now. Let's be human. We need to love each other instead of raising our arms against one another. Now take out your penis and start stroking it for me. And now use they should put a jerk-off instructional and intermittent a little bit of these type of sentiments. That's the type of woke porn I'm talking about. I think it'll be more effective if you put it interspersed with actual porn. Yeah, take your penis out. Start rubbing it. Oh, did you spit on your hand? Did you also know that there's misinformation out there from the Russian government and none of us want this war and it's an authoritarian crisis? Now rub it faster. You know, I think that would be more effective. In 2015, Russia blacklisted 136 porn websites, claiming that these sites propagandized non-traditional sexual relations and fostered... That's because Russia hates the gays. Russia would not like my porn search. I would probably just get arrested and put into a gulag based off of enjoying lesbian pornography in Russia. That's why I'm so anti-Russia. They killed Pussy Riot, who, I mean... I was a big Pussy Riot guy. I went to a Pussy Riot TED Talk, for Christ's sake, and I chanted along, "Free Pussy Riot! Free Pussy Riot!" I was all about it. Not only because I'm a big advocate for homosexuality, I also love lesbian porn. So it's my favorite fucking thing. You can judge me all you want, but I don't judge you for what you like, so don't judge me either, all right? Fucking...
Idiot woman!
We now have such information attacks from all sides, and sometimes you don't understand what to believe, what is true and what is not. Bisexual couple family free told me. And the only possible correct way remains, it is to say and do what the heart tells and try to support each other. We wanted to convey that the Russian people are not equal to the Russian government. We are for peace. We are against bloodshed. Can we search these people? Can we go to Pornhub and, I mean, you might have to blur things, but can you just pull up their profile? It is bisex couple, BISEX couple, family free. Just type that into Google and see what that yields us with Pornhub. I just want to see if that has their pictures anywhere. I see huge attention to the war in Ukraine, and I think as many people as possible should know about it. Not because it's important to me. Events in Ukraine affect the whole world. Our country is everything that separates Europe from the largest terrorist organization, but not only we are fighting. Everyone who is worried about this situation can join the fight. These are very lofty sentiments from people who go by the name bisex couple family free. Also, Luxury Girl. Going to check out her work in a little bit. It yielded nothing. Well, go home and search it, folks. Put another square in your browser right now and search it for yourself.
Yeah, I can't find either of them.
Interesting. Maybe they had them snuffed out. Did Putin have luxury girl and bisex couple family free disappeared? God, I hope not. I hope they're safe. And I do hope that, of course, every roach out there listening in Ukraine is safe still. Obviously, I'm serious about that sentiment. I'm serious about the other one as well. I want bisex couple family free to be safe as well, same as luxury girl, you know? And I do appreciate everybody who listened to the program last week. Again, I wanted to point that out. And I also appreciate everybody who came out to Portland. My God, what a fucking show in Portland. It was just un-fucking believable. One of my favorite shows of all time. And I hope I have more of those coming up in the near future. Again, going to be doing a whole huge run in the summertime. Dates include Chicago, San Diego, trying to get a Philly date going, looking to get to Denver. So these are all places that you have asked me to come, and if there's any place that you want me to come in the summertime, do let us know in the comments. Hit me up on Instagram at Josh_Potter. Hit me up on Twitter at J_Potter. If you're a Patreon member, send me a message on there because I tend to see those pretty quickly since I'm paying very close attention, obviously, to the Patreon. You're paying $5 a month. I gotta basically be beholden to you. And the Patreon, man, it's about to get hot here in the next couple of weeks with everything going on with March Madness, so do get signed up and subscribe, and perhaps you'll win our bracket contest and maybe come away with a little bit of this. Other than that, friend, we will see you next time, and we will see you next Tuesday, more specifically, right here on The Josh Potter Show.